If you were to bump into Dean Smith this week down the street, what would you say to him?
Let's go and have a pint. I'll buy him a beer. Yeah, he's a legend.
Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe and drop this video a like. And I'd just like to thank BBC WM to start with, because they had me on for a feature, as what you saw in the little intro. And then they've continually had me and Justin on all season. And then Ryan made an appearance yesterday. So thanks for them for having us on. And I think it just bit of credit to what we're doing, really, that they want us on their show. So fair play to us. I'll give us a bit of a pat on the back anyway. So Rangers fans as well, we're going to be talking a lot about Steven Gerrard. So let us know what his managerial skills are like, what he's like as a manager, what he's done for you. I mean, from the outset, we know he's transformed your club and got you back to top of Scottish football, so fair play to him. But Percy at the back post, the biggest Midlands news reporter, has just dropped a tweet this evening saying Steven Gerrard is interested in being Aston Villa manager, with the ambitious Midlands club set to make an approach. We'll touch on Gerrard after we've spoke about Dino's departure. So Ryan, thoughts on Dino departing?
Yes, it was a sad day. Sort of come out of the blue Sunday afternoon, I think, when we weren't expecting it. And but Dino, he's up there with one of my favourites, probably maybe even my favourite Villa manager. He's up there with the likes of Little and Big Fat Ron and John Gregory for me. And he was just a very classy, respectful, humble gentleman. And I was so proud that it was the manager of our club. The legacy he leaves behind as well is remarkable, really. He brought the fans back to the stadium. I said it on WM that we had parts of the stadium closed. The Trinity Road upper was on lockdown, and he gave everyone that love for the club back. And he's left with 18,000 people wanting season tickets. The promotion, the 10-game winning streak, the day out at Wembley, he coached an academy player in Jack Grealish from the Championship to the Premier League to the international stage, and he left for 100 million. He made the club 100 million off him, and the club is still going to be generating money off him because the players he plucked out of Bournemouth reserves, Mings, he plucked Martinez out of Arsenal reserves, turned them into internationals. He plucked players out of the Championship, Cash, Watkins, they're internationals. Konza's going to be an international. So even the players he brought in and coached, absolutely tremendous. He took us to a cup final. And, the youth setup as well, he played a key role in that. His face was always in the stand for the under-23 games, the Premier League 2 games. And he made us competitive again. We smashed Liverpool 7-2. We beat Arsenal 3 times in a row. We beat Chelsea at home, Tottenham away, Man United away. And it's just a shame that we couldn't share more moments in the stadium with him, because then results and when we stayed up as well, to have shared their moments with Dino and the players and the likes of Terry and stuff would have been absolutely tremendous. But damn you, COVID. But no, Dino, fair play. I'm going to raise a beer to you. What a man, what a gentleman. And all the best for the future, mate. Thanks a lot.
Smashed it. Hannah?
Yeah, I think Ryan's done a really good job there of sort of summarising how I think 99% of us feel about Dean Smith. I think, like Ryan touched on, the legacy of Dean Smith not only is our survival in the Premier League and our promotion, but it's the players he's left behind. Whether it's the academy players, we've seen so many develop under Dean Smith, but also loads more come in, and also the ones he's brought into the club. He's brought in Ollie Watkins and Ezri Konsa that he worked with before in Brentford and made them Villa players. And, they're fan favourites now. He's brought in, even more this summer. Emi Buendia, Leon Bailey. And we're yet to even see what they're like. But, we can't underestimate the impact that Dean Smith has had on the culture at Aston Villa, because think about what it was like before he came in the Steve Bruce days, where the club, although things were on the up with the owners coming in, they were still so unstable, because we never had that manager that the fans connected with, that we felt we could trust, that they were a real good guardian of the club. And then Dean Smith came in, and it was just like, from that moment, yes, there were low points, but for the most part, we felt so secure and mostly hopeful under Dean Smith's reign. And it was a sad day on Sunday. I think a lot of us maybe expected it. I especially expected it. I thought maybe it would come a little bit later in the international break, but I completely understand why it happened when it did. So we have enough time to now transition in the international break. But I was gutted. I can't lie. Whoever comes in now, it's going to be such big shoes to fill. Because even if someone gets us a top 10 finish, they're not going to be a boyhood fan. They're not going to have that connection to the club. So as much as we're going to get behind them and support them and hope for the best, there was always that one special thing with Dean Smith where, he was a fan, and we had that connection with him. And obviously that's really hard to replicate. So he will definitely be sorely missed, but it's just good that he's left on good terms, and hopefully we can see him back at Villa Park as a supporter, and I'm sure he'd get a very warm welcome.
Definitely. Justin?
You're going to get me crying in a minute, Hannah, honestly. It's sad, isn't it? It's really sad. When the news broke, I think it hit everybody hard, didn't it? I think, like you say, we was all half expecting that something was going to happen, and it did. And I love Dean Smith. I think we all love Dean Smith. I'd love to meet him in the street. I know he lives in Sutton, and I have seen him 1 or 2 times walking around where I work. And I hope I bump into him at some point, and I can shake him by the hand and thank him massively for what he's done for me as a Villa fan. I think a lot of our support was waning, wasn't it? When we rocked in, we was looking in a really bad position. We'd had years and years of decline, and managers we just couldn't get on with, and they just didn't get Villa, did they? So to get that connect with Dino when he arrived, I just think it sparked us all, didn't it? I think that's what ultimately led to the promotion and to the great times we've had with him. And we none of us will ever really be able to thank him for doing what he's done. And I know, just after he's left, it's not a good time to look back, but I think he'll look back and should really have nothing but pride for what he's achieved at Aston Villa. To be a fan and to do what he did as a kid, and he's the connection with his dad and stewarding and all that. And when he's got his grandkids sitting on his lap, and when he's older, he can say, I managed Aston Villa Football Club. There ain't many people that can say they did that. And I think there's even a smaller band that can say they supported the club and they did it. So I've got nothing but good things to say about Dino. I'll just thank him for everything he's done for us, and reignited everything that happens from now onwards as well. He's left a legacy, like Ryan says, to build on, and we'll be forever grateful, really. I think he was the right man at the right time, and he did a fantastic job. And as they say, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. So thank you, Dino, for everything.
And I think the most important thing Dino said in his LMA letter was that he wanted to leave Villa in a better place to what he took over. And my God, has he done that on and off the pitch, whether it's what's been going on at Bodymore Heath with the academy, the first team, the fans. We was in turmoil in that championship. We were in some dark days, and now, we bicker on Twitter a lot between us, but as a fan base, we are pretty united that we do have our Aston Villa back. And then that leads me on to the next person that has got to take over from Dino. I think Danny Murphy needs educating a little bit on the size of Aston Villa, what we're all about, who we are, and the direction that we are trying to go into. It's a fantastic job for whoever takes over, basically. There is the foundation of a top side here with some very, very good players. And the foundations of an academy are there. Youth can come through. We've got brilliant owners. Everything is there for the next person to take over. And that leads me on to the number one candidate, which I think Purslow himself has targeted, and that's Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard is Christian Perslow's man. No two ways about it. That is the guy that is the number one target for Aston Villa. And on Sunday, I did a little bit of video and I wasn't too sure, but the more I've thought about it, the more for me, I feel like I do want Steven Gerrard to be manager of Aston Villa Football Club. Now, some fans will be thinking he's not achieved certain things or he's not got the right experience, but you've got to look at Patrick Vieira. Would you think he could take over Palace and do a fantastic job? Probably not. Graham Potter, he had to start somewhere. So I think Dino, he had no Premier League experience either. So I think the football that he's got Rangers playing, he's got them into Europe. He got them to win their league as well. For me, it's a brilliant, brilliant fit. And I think he's the guy for me. Hannah, what are your thoughts on Steven Gerrard?
Yeah, so like what you said, Luke, about the job being appealing, it's probably the first time in however many years that coming to Villa after a sacking, the job is an appealing one. It's not something that we could have said for many years. So in that sense, I'm not too worried. The thing that's been bothering me off the back of Dean Smith leaving the club is just having that feeling of who is going to be a genuine upgrade. Now, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought of Steven Gerrard as, is this an upgrade? Still undecided, still have no idea. But whether you're pro Gerrard in or not, I think we can all agree is that we have no idea whether he will succeed or not in a job like Villa, because he does not have the experience. He's had one proper managerial job at Rangers, which is obviously a completely different league. And, you know, the pace of this league, the players, the money, everything is just on a completely different scale. So we can't sit here, no one can sit here and say he is a good fit or he is a bad fit, because we don't know. And on a similar note, it was, you know, similar for Dean Smith. Yes, he had Championship and Football League experience in management, but, you know, again, no Premier League experience, and we had to sort of go with the tide. In that sense, if Gerrard comes in, we all will completely back him. I know we will. I think he plays a decent style of football, something that would potentially really suit the players we've got. I think I'm not an expert on the Scottish League or Steven Gerrard's managerial tactics at all, but I'm doing a bit of reading and seeing he does like a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, which is something that I think we can adapt to. And a high press, possession-based game, which is something, you know, we all want to see. We all want to see entertaining football. At the end of the day, we want to be entertained, which again, Luke, I think is something that you've talked about recently. As much as we love the club, we want to be entertained. So I think if Gerrard or whoever it ends up being come into the club and put some confidence into the fans that the style of play, first and foremost, is right, then he'll win us over. The performances have got to be there. It might take some time. We're in a big period of transition now after 3 years with Dean Smith, but it's that initial sense that Steven Gerrard could come in and play the football we want to watch, pick the right players, and I think from then out, you know, he's going to have full backing from fans, from the board, and the players, and that's the most positive outcome I think you can hope for in a situation like this.
Nice stuff. So another thing that I'll touch on as well is that any manager that comes in is a risk. We could bring in Mancini, we could bring in Zidane, we could bring in anybody, and it's still a risk. So to the fans that are saying that Gerrard would be a risk, I would say that anyone could be a risk. Justin, let's have your thoughts and then touch on maybe the little elephant in the room regarding Gerrard would be Liverpool. So give us a few thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you. The experience thing, I think, you look at Man United when they lost Ferguson, that they had everything, and they probably still have got everything, haven't they? They're one of the biggest clubs in the world, massive finances, can attract probably any player in the world, no problems there. And they've hired Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, David Moyes, three of the most experienced managers you can get. And it hasn't happened for them, has it? So there's no guarantee of success because you're an experienced manager. And conversely, there's no guarantee that if you're new and you just burst onto the scene like Steven Gerrard has, I think Rangers took a big gamble in hiring Steven Gerrard in the first place. Never managed in a first team game for anyone, and he's sort of pumped into Rangers and said, "Right, okay, your job is to win the league." So that brings its own pressures for any manager, doesn't it? Going to Scotland and everyone says it's an easy league. Oh, it's easy. There's only two teams, but you're basically told on day one your job is to win the league. There's no second. Second is failure. So that's pressure's there straight away. So he's dealt with pressure. He's done well in Europe with them as well. So he's managed in Europe. Dean Smith's never managed in Europe. He's never won a trophy as a manager. And we love Dean Smith. So I think it's really harsh, some of the things that have been thrown around with Steven Gerrard. The plus points for me is he's immensely driven. I've read a lot about him today. He's got a bit of OCD. He doesn't take any crap off anyone, which I think we probably need a bit now. I think some of the things that were thrown at Dean Smith was a bit of a criticism, was that he was just too nice. He was a really nice man, and there's nothing wrong with being nice. But sometimes I think that the players, especially recently, seem to be taking a bit of advantage of it. We haven't had the reaction in games that we hoped for. Was that because they wasn't too scared of Dean Smith? They wasn't bothered about what the reaction would be. We only recently saw him drop the captain, didn't we? Which you can see someone like Steven Gerrard just not taking reputations. It's like you do it or you don't play. And on the Liverpool thing, to say that we shouldn't hire him because he'll just go to Liverpool, what we should be saying is, let's hope he goes to Liverpool one day, because he will only be offered that Liverpool job if he comes to Villa and he's really successful. There's no bottom line. When Jurgen Klopp leaves Liverpool, he hasn't finished outside the top three. He's won trophies with them, Champions League, league title. They will not hire a manager unless he's got a very good pedigree. They just don't do that. So unless he comes to Villa and he does really, really, really well, he will not be on a shortlist to go to Liverpool. It just won't happen. So I think we've got to get away from this fact that we're going to have managers for 10 years, because that doesn't happen. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You have long-term managers now. The Fergusons at United, the Wengers at Arsenal, that's not happening anymore. I think we have to work in cycles, and we wanted Dean Smith to stay for a long time. It hasn't happened. But what he has done in 3 years is he's improved the club dramatically. He's taken us from mid-table championship to mid-table Premier League. We're currently 15th, 16th in the Premier League. So let's say Steven Gerrard comes. His job will be to get us 10 places up that league, I think. That's what he'll be told to do. Within 2 or 3 years, you've got to be qualified for Europe. That's what our aspirations are. So he's got to lift us 10 positions up in the league. Do I think he's capable of doing that with this squad and our owners? Yes, I do. I do think he's capable of doing that. I think quite a lot of the managers on this could be capable of doing that. But I think at the moment, Steven Gerrard is a very, very good fit for Villa. Let's not kid ourselves. We're not just going to snap our fingers and he'll go, yes, please. He'll be asking questions of us. He'll be asking the owners what their ambitions are. He'll be asking what kind of finances are available for him to push on. And he'll be asking what we want to, what do we want to achieve? And if our aspirations are the same as his, then it's a good fit, isn't it? He's got to, at some point, manage in the Premier League. If he's got any aspirations to manage for like one of the top 4 clubs, or even the England job, which may be even what he wants to do. So he's got to make that jump at some point. There's nothing else he can do at Rangers now, in my opinion. They're a great club and he's done great with them. But if he to stay there now, it'll just be repeating the same thing, win the trophy. And at some point, he's got to make that move. And for me, the Villa job, there's only probably 6 or 7 jobs in the country that are bigger than Villa, and none of them are available. And he probably wouldn't get them anyway, so currently. So for me, Villa right now would be massively appealing to him, I think, should he be offered it. And all the signs are that he's going to be offered it. So I think currently it's a very good fit, and I'm really excited.
And what a job. I would say we are currently massively underperforming with the squad that we've got. So if he backs himself, we will climb that table pretty quickly. And we should,
like Hannah,
should be around.
Hannah and Ryan, they've said, he's walking into a brilliant squad. He's walking into a fantastic academy. He's walking into a brilliant training ground. He's walking into a sold-out stadium every week with 18,000 waiting list. What manager couldn't get excited about that? It's, he must be buzzing. In my opinion, he'd be buzzing, but we're Villa fans. We're going to think that, aren't we?
Yeah, and then one thing that I would touch on the candidates that are the long list of candidates, and what you're saying about Liverpool is basically at this moment in time we're not in a position where we can get, say, like a Ten Hag or the other, a Mancini. We're not in that bracket. But for example, if we are pushed up the league with Gerrard and he was to go to Liverpool, I'm sure we would be in the bracket to be attracting the top bracket managers then, because we'll be sort of, say, where Tottenham are to get Conte. So
100%. That's what I'm saying
we're
about
not
these
in the
cycles.
top bracket at the minute, are we? We're in a bracket of managers that are probably you can't. Not every Villa fan is.
Dean Smith has got that first job. He's done it brilliantly, fantastic. If Gerrard can take us to the top 6 and then goes, then we're in, like you say, we're in the bracket for the big boys and the proper, European quality managers.
Yes, Ryan.
Yeah, I was a bit undecided this morning. So sadly, I did a bit of a pros and cons list of Steven Gerrard. And he's a big name. He's a worldwide, he's a blockbuster name. Now, that is going to raise the identity of our football club as well. And it might attract the more established, well-polished players as well that will see Villa as an attractive option. He's a born winner. He's a leader. He was fantastic on the pitch. That midfield position, he was awesome, wasn't he? And John Terry commanded the respect of that dressing room, didn't he, at Villa? You hear all the stories of how well respected he was, and Gerrard has got the same glittering career, hasn't he? So instantly he walks into that dressing room and commands the respect straight up. He's young and hungry for success. He's got a good setup behind him. We've got Gary McAllister that knows the club well. He had a good time there, McAllister under Julio. And the young coach Beale as well, who's highly thought of, and they're all raving about him. And I've seen a lot of Rangers fans say, if Gerrard is to leave, that they'd rather keep Beale and have him as manager. So, yeah. And Purslow will probably be working for Gerrard as well, because it is definitely his man. So whatever Gerrard wants, Perslow's going to move hell on earth for him. The cons as well. Initially, it was that Liverpool connection. That his end game is that Liverpool job, isn't it? But like you've just touched on, Lou, that's what I wrote down here. If he is offered that Liverpool, if he does join Villa and then he is offered that Liverpool job in 3 or 4 years' time, then we know we are on that next level, that we can attract the Ten Hags and the Zidans and the Mancinis and stuff like that. He would have left us in a better place than what he would be taking us over now. My only reservation with that is if you're bringing the players in, you're bringing the youth players in, you're trying to bring players into this club, sell them the vision, sell them the project, but maybe in the back of your mind, okay, but this manager might jump. So that's the only slight reservation. But my verdict is yes. He's young, he's hungry, he's got a fantastic opportunity, like you said, Justin, that all the foundations are in place. You've got the youth setup is amazing. Chukwuemeka, could you ask for a better role model to work under his position? He's going to be absolutely buzzing if Gerrard comes in.
And the Ramsey brothers.
And the Ramsey, these guys must have been 6-7 years old, wouldn't they, when Gerrard was playing? So, top man. So, So equally as you guys, I'm quite excited at the prospect of Steven Gerrard now.
Cool. One player who I think would absolutely flourish and become an even better player for us, Mr. John McGinn. I think there is a better player than what we've seen in John McGinn. And I think if Gerrard's there, he's going to score some bangers. He's going to be on banger watch, I reckon, because I just think he's going to improve massively in that midfield role. So I'm going to go through a quick thoughts from some of the Villa fans. Can't read them all out because there's too many and we are running out of time. So Hoppo's put gutted for Dino, can see why he was given the chop on paper, but really feel like we needed to be getting an upgrade on him, and Gerrard seems a big risk and a sideways step. Danny has put, have accepted Dean Smith has gone and we need a new manager. Still highly emotive though, so purely based on scoring points against Danny Murphy, it would be a good point. It would be a good point, be hilarious. Watch out for those low ceilings. And let's have one more. George has put big names, so I can definitely believe Purslow is keen. Also a big risk, which I think is probably our level of target right now, but I would but could pay off like Vieira starting at Palace. Not my first choice, but would be open-minded. One thing that I would like to say is that I'm going to put a little video on now from Dave Wicks of the Cornwall Alliance. They're doing fantastic stuff. They've got their first event as a group. They've got some legends, Brian Little's going down, and they are doing some auctions and sort of raffles for prizes. And all the money is going to the Aston Foundation and a children's hospital in Cornwall. So be sure to check them out. Listen to the Insta tags of the people that are going to be doing the auctions, and then check them out on social media as well. So I'll play the video now.
Evening all, I'm Dave Wicks. I live in Falmouth in Cornwall, and it's my privilege to be the chair of the official Cornwall Alliance Supporters Club at Aston Villa. We've been going nearly a year now. We have over 120 members right across the county, which is staggering considering the fact that I travel as far as 575 miles per trip per game for a home game. So we also do some away games, and on average I do about 15 to 20 games a season, which some people say is crazy, but actually it's my passion and my obsession. To cheer on the lads really and encourage to see what we can do and how successful we can become. As part of the group, we're doing some fundraisers, and next week is our first face-to-face members event, which is amazing. But considering we've had COVID and the pandemic, we haven't been able to do this. So next week, really privileged to be hosting the legends that are Alan Evans and Brian Little, who is promoting his autobiography. So the members will get to come along, all for £20 only. We'll get to come along, meet and greet both legends. We'll get a quiz, a Q&A from both, and we'll be selling raffle prizes on the night, which is amazing because the Villa Foundation and former players like Ian Taylor have donated signed prizes for us to be raffling, and what we would like to do today is to promote those prizes. Some of them will be going on 2 Instagram pages that we have. One is at Cornwall Alliance, and the other is one of our committee members, Tim Gabriel, who promotes and sells signed shirts on his own Instagram platform at avfc shirt searcher. So if you want to get in touch in the group, or you want to come along to the event, there's only a couple of tickets left now out of the 60 that we're selling. Please do get in touch with myself, Dave, at our website address, Cornwall AVFC Lions at outlook.com. Over the next couple of days, we'll be launching a Just Giving page as well to encourage donations. So best of luck tonight, Villa.
And then thank you for watching our episode today. We've gave our thoughts on Dino, our final farewell messages, and we've gave our thoughts on the number one contender for the Villa job, Steven Gerrard. So I'd like you all to put in the comments who you want and whether you feel like Gerrard would be a good fit for Villa as well. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and we'll be back soon. Up the Villa.
Cheers, Dino.
Bella.